Hi!
Hi.
And welcome, first of all, to Pete, who I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then I'll talk about who we are, and then go from there. So who are you, and where can people find you?
My name's Pete. I'm LifeInc Pete on Instagram. Feel free to add me. I am a Cornwall, Penzance-based DM, monster creator, miniature painter, dad, and just general nerdy chap, really. Enjoying all like role-playing games, board games, and all that kind of stuff. Just trying to promote that as a hobby and trying to find ways to make it cheaper for those who might be on lower budgets, and promoting being creative, I suppose. Overall, that's my main kind of goal of things, like getting stuck down with glue and paper and making a mess, basically, and then hopefully something reasonable coming out of it at the end of the day, basically.
And for those of you who don't already follow Pete, I know that there are a few Cornish people in the followers. I'm not sure who is in chat at the moment. Hello to everybody that's there in chat. If you don't already follow him, it's life_inc_Pete, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I should have got that ready to have in the chat ready to go, but if not, I will put that on my socials, and I've tagged him in stories and stuff. But actually, go check out a lot of the kit bashing that you do, and that's one of the main reasons that we're here today. So.
Indeed.
We're back at Dragonborn Industries, and it's nice. After 2 weeks off, we finally got the internet working again yesterday. We did a little paint stream, and today was is an absolute honour for me to be asked to come along and help judge a fundraiser that you ran 2 weeks ago at Geekfest, which is kind of like a Comic-Con down here, because we don't quite get the full Comic-Cons. We get the Truro one every now and again.
You've got Truro, the comics one, and then you've got the Falmouth thing that goes on as
Movie
well.
and Comic Fest, that one is,
Comic Fest,
that was really good, actually.
I didn't get to either of those two, because I kind of had to choose one of the
three,
and I was like, well, we were so kindly invited by Game on Cornwall to go and be at the Geekfest at Heartlands, and that was, it was a really good event. I mean, the cosplay stuff there, you think it's Cornwall, middle of nowhere, no one's going to put any effort in, there's no cosplayers around here, and then they're out in
come out of the woodwork.
They are.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah, just amazing. Like there was some, just incredible work. Like robots and, I mean, some of the Cornwall critters were looking stunning. The chap that did Perseus, sorry, I don't have your Instagram to hand. Top notch, man, that was amazing.
You can find all of them through at Cornwall Critters, who are, again, one of them lives down the hill from here, and you might be seeing more of them here on the channel, I'm hoping, a bit more often. But you ran an event that was basically a kit bashing event, essentially.
Yeah.
Not quite the kit bashing that we normally talk about or anything like that. But that was in association with Game on Cornwall, which hopefully you can see up here. This is their logo, and they've offered a prize which was
10 quid to spend in their store or any of their retro gaming bits, their cool room hire stuff, their because they have a Dungeons and Dragons room that you can hire. They have the retro consoles, they have the high-end gaming consoles, or any of their kind of suites.
Hey, Fluff's in there with your Instagram as well. So anybody else who's watching, please check out the Instagram chat. And
that's very kind of you.
Yeah, our mods are great. They're really awesome. So like Geeky and Fluff, and I'm not sure if Hagley's going to be in today or not. But yeah. So yeah, Game on Cornwall basically sponsored the event, and people could pay a donation, they could build a monster out of the equipment and stuff that you had there, and we'll get to why I'm not describing that in a bit. And then they have a chance of winning, and today we'll go through the pictures.
And the money was all going to these guys.
These guys over here, which is a band of brothers. So would you like to tell everybody who a band of... Actually, you've told me, but actually I think this is what it's all about. You can tell these guys out here.
So Band of Brothers is a mentoring service for young adolescent men who have been through the criminal justice system, many suffering with various addiction problems as well, and it's to kind of get them into the world and go through a process of sort of spiritual and mental health growth, and they get one-on-one mentoring from volunteers, and it's a way to guide one back into the world, I guess. And it's something that I kind of hold dear to my heart, as I think when I've struggled with mental health, if there was someone there that I could, turn to, lean on, have a phone call with, someone to just guide me those little steps, just to say, just get through today, or, those kind of stuff, that's really, really vital, and I think it would have been a great help. And those people need that. And and that's why I did it with these guys. I met one of the mentors, Matt, through Game on Cornwall. Actually, was having a cup of tea in there, and
Nice.
I just said, "What are you working on?" He said, "I'm mentoring and stuff like that, and this is what I do." They invited me actually to become a mentor, but work commitments mean I can't at the moment. However, I thought, what can I do? Got a bit of free fortune from Game on Cornwall, and let's spread love and friendship and health awareness and vitality.
And I think that especially for those of the people who might be in chat or people who are watching this on YouTube or have followed Dragonborn Industries know that I'm a big fan of talking about mental health problems and stuff like that as it is, and we're hoping to create a bit of a community here where actually, if you've got an issue, then just shout out. One of us will always be happy to listen. One of us will always be happy to kind of like be an ear. And I struggle with mental health. I know that we've spoken about that. I know that there's people in chat here who also struggle with mental health. Hey, Dragon Skull, how you doing?
Hi.
Hope you're well. Dragon Skull is an awesome mini painter from the States, and they are one of the band badges with us. And
Give
also,
us a follow, Dragon Skull. And I'll follow you back.
so Dragon Skull, there should be a link from Fluffy above somewhere for Life Inc. Pete. He is a local mini painter and kit basher who has been running an event at Geekfest, sponsored by A Game on Cornwall, in association with a band of brothers trying to raise money for young adolescent males who have been through the justice system, trying to get them back to a spiritual and mental health state where they can re-enter society.
And be free from those things that might have bound them before.
There you go.
Access.
Already follow him. There you go.
You're a star.
Dragon Skull Hagley is amazing. Craig, much love to you, my friend. So let's talk about how you went about this event, and let's talk about what the parameters were for things. So I guess let's talk about what were the parameters. What was the point of the fun, the actual like competition bit, the fundraising? Like, how did they enter?
How did they do it? So, my concept was, I always talk about how to make D&D and miniature making cheaper. So I'm always about getting odd bits of creatures, gluing them together. However, we can't have toxic gluing together chemicals with toddlers and stuff. So I thought, how can I recreate this situation in a child-friendly, festival-friendly manner? So I did a scouring of some local thrift stores, charity shops, for UK folks, thrift stores for Americans that are watching, and basically got a load of gubbins and chopped their heads, legs and everything off into component parts, and Play-Doh or clay, modern clay stuff, and stuck that in a bucket, poured it out onto a table and said, build a monster. That kind of, I don't know if you ever did it when you were a kid, where you had the piece of paper, someone drew the head, someone drew the body, someone drew the legs. That kind of process, but with a 3D physical object that you could just bash together, glue in whatever way you wanted to, within the strength of the plasticine. So we had bits of dinosaurs, we had bits of Ben 10 figures, we had googly eyes, we had just anything, and the creations that the kids. I mean, we haven't got everybody's creation. There were loads of people taking part that didn't enter the competition. They just did the donation and just built the weirdest things. Like, kids are so imaginative.
Yeah.
Giving them that something physical and hands-on to do. They were sat focused on these mad monsters and picking their parts ever so carefully and constructing these abominations, basically.
And I think that's the thing to point out here is that so this had to be obviously toxic free. It had to be child safe because this is like a family event. Geekfest. It's imagine like a normal MCM or anything like that, but it's definitely more family orientated, where people will take young kids to. So you had the challenge of having to work around kit bashing without glue. And without paint, and without... So, I mean, that's a hard challenge, as it is. I think for us as miniature painters and us as people who are within the tabletop hobby systems, we can be like, okay, well, I've got this bit here and I've got this bit here. I'm just going to glue them together. I can put a bit of putty on there, like milliput, and then let that dry and then mould it. You don't have that option when you're working with the public, and I think from what I've seen that you did, I am so blown away by like your creativity in terms of how to work around the issue. And I think that like what you did was really fun, and what you did was very inventive. So I definitely think that you deserve. I can only clap you here, but if everybody else can be like, big up for Life Inc. Pete, because that's a hard challenge to set, and to.
It's just, but that's what thinking outside the box. Like when you're looking at an object that you might find in a thrift store,
Yeah.
you can go like, oh, if I turn that way, that's a thing. That's what I kind of try and promote, because there's so much plastic goes to landfill, so many broken toys, so many things like that. So if you can take that thing and go, oh, that's a piece of sci-fi terrain. I mean, I did it recently. If you go back on my Insta, My Little Pony Castle, my little girl was getting rid of a My Little Pony Castle.
Yeah.
It was bright pink, bright purple, so sand it down, give it a spray with some texture paint and some, a bit of a dry brush, some fairy lights, and now it makes a perfect kind of city district background that kind of shows up as kind of like an entrance to a temple, entrance to anything,
And actually, you say that. One of my first GM screens, obviously we've got this one here which you can see in front of you, but nobody else can, which is 3D printed. There is actually, around here somewhere, and it would be today that I don't think to have it close to hand or have it on me. I actually have a He-Man castle front that I then resprayed and I used as my first ever GM screen. And it's like a big grey and castle, and it was this really horrible thing. Hey Geeky, thank you for pinning Pete's Instagram up there. So anybody who's joining in or anybody who's coming in later, if you're here on Twitch or watching on the VODs, you can check the pinned comments. That's where you'll find Pete. I will stick on YouTube in the description below where to find you. I'll put it in for the charity and for Game on Cornwall as well. But yeah, finding toys that are going into landfill. And you said about saving money at the start of this, and I agree that if you're as privileged as I'm very privileged, and I'm very grateful to have the space that I'm in and to have a 3D printer and to be able to do so many things that are just printed. I do the odd bit of bone crafting here and there, but like you've seen down there, anytime I have a print that doesn't succeed, I will try and stick something together so I'm not throwing it into landfill.
You're harvesting, that's what it is. It's
about
reaping those little things. I mean, greeblies can be the tiniest bits of snap plastic, and it can become something quite fantastic and make a beautiful part of a miniature.
I agree.
You might just find I making mushrooms out of clay and paper clips.
Yes.
I made a Zuckmoy from the Demon Mushroom Queen. That model was released by WizKids.
Yeah.
That's £45 to buy that mini. I made it out of a Princess Anna doll and some tin foil and paper clips. And
because that's one of the main things as well. It's it's all well and good if you are playing D&D, if you're playing tabletop games that are more role-play based, and then you have a combat map that goes down. You can have all the minis, you can have all the 3D prints you want, but actually you just need a proxy. You just need something that maybe is there to signify to the characters, you're here, they're there, that's fine. But if you can make it more immersive, that's what kind of minis and stuff is about. But then what you're doing is taking something and going, well, actually, I don't need to spend the money on big minis. I can go and find this, I can make it myself, and I can show you guys, which you do through your Instagram, that you can do it yourself for dirt cheap. And it's actually one of the reasons that Richard and I on a Thursday do, so that shelf up there, which is all painted with the Monster Manual, I'm trying to do as many as I can with the WizKids minis. So yes, I'm spending money, but I'm trying to do it as cheap as possible. I'm painting it in an hour to show you that you don't need to be a perfect miniature painter. Yeah. You can smash them out in an hour and have something ready that's there as the tabletop thing. But I love the idea that you are building minis from charity shop stuff. That you are going into a store.
One of the best things, there's giant centipedes. So one of the first adventures in Saltmarsh, I think it's one of the first bits you go into in Saltmarsh, is there's a haunted house, a rumoured haunted house. And
spoilers.
There's bugs, big bugs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could go invest in that mini, but also I could go and buy a massive sack of bugs on Amazon. I think it was £5, which I don't know how many dollars that worked out as, but incredible. Just poop and them and a couple of bits of rock, from your garden. Go find some pebbles, a knife and some glue, and repaint them. And they've come up with these horrific, a squad of 4 little chittering giant centipedes, and that's an encounter. That's an encounter, straight away. And that was, pound shop glue, or dollar store glue, and a bag of bugs. And I've still got more bugs.
Yeah.
I've still got loads of bugs to chop up and turn into giant this, giant that.
And I agree, and I'm just going to move this mic because apparently Fluffy says that we're a bit hard to hear, and I think the white noise you can hear, Fluff, is actually the fan, because it is humid in here. It is.
For some reason, summer's come now.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I like the heat. I'm a big fan of it, but it's quite warm in here. So that was the premise of the competition, basically. It's you have these things, and it's one of those events where the families, kids, and not just people like you and I who make minis anyway, but people who are new to the hobby can see, like, actually, you don't need to go and spend money. You can go and cut up a thing from a charity shop, and you can stick it together with this. Because actually, and this I suppose is another side of it, is that a lot of the times that mini is probably going to hit the table once every 2 years.
Yeah.
So actually being able to take it apart again afterwards, it actually kind of works out for music is still loud though. Okay, that's a bit odd. I wonder why that is. Let's see if I can bring that down. Let's try that. How's that? Yeah, and you can then take that apart and repurpose that to something else. Yeah. So I guess let's have a look at.
Do you want to reveal them?
Yeah, what we've done. So you've numbered these, so we don't know whose they are. You know whose they are. I don't.
I have them linked to everybody, and they will be contacted on Instagram. We'll shout out about them via Instagram rather than on the stream, I think.
Yes,
just to make
absolutely.
sure everyone's
Because some of them are quite
privacy
young.
protected and stuff like that. A couple of them have agreed to have their images shared and be tagged, but I didn't get confirmation from everybody when I asked. So we're just looking after people.
I think safeguarding, again, back to the whole mental health thing, is a big thing, and that's one of the main things that we like to promote here at Dragonborn Industries. So, I'm going to grab this first one here. So, I love these. And I had a quick look earlier, so I've seen like what the parts are, so this is so fun. I guess there's nothing to do but jump into the first one.
Monster number 1.
So, I love those fingers. I'm going to try and like make that a bit bigger actually. So, tell us about the component parts here first of all, and then...
Well, this is the guessing game that we get to play here. So, we have some sort of raptor first on the front end. I'm thinking the middle is a rhino or a hippo.
Yeah, I see that.
But it still has its front arms, so we've kind of got some centaur business going on. But we've also got an extra pair of giant hands, which are one of the Ben 10 figurines. Massive, brutal hands here. So I kind of imagine this as... I mean, it's an aberration, isn't it? I mean,
it's completely an aberration.
There's no way around it other than it being an aberration. Or maybe some sort of prehistoric mutant. You could have it as a beast that's been experimented on, some sort of biological artificer. I mean, that's what they were. They were little biological artificers, all the people that took part and constructing these weird critters.
Are they wearing an apron, tutu, or a skirt like this bit just here?
Oh,
I'm imagining that is the
that is the Play-Doh, but it does
look like that.
They might be wearing a sort of French-made outfit, or some sort of like apron. That's because they don't like getting their torso messy. That's what the hands are for.
So I really like, first of all, the fingers. Like, I know that's from a Ben 10 thing and that's part of the hands, but I really like those like big clumpy fingers. But the idea that like these tiny little arms there, I mean, like if you were to base this on a table, and I'm bringing it down so we can see us a little bit there as well. If we were like facing that on a table and... I don't know, the idea of having like these big arms that are like obviously like going to be there for punching or grabbing, but then these other little ones for feeding, they're like
they're just scooping up the body parts.
Yeah.
And while the other hands are doing the squashing.
It's horrific. it is exactly what it's supposed to be there, and I really like that. I watch Critical Role. Do you watch Critical Role?
Yes.
Cool. Have you seen Campaign 2?
See, I started campaign 1, working my way through in lockdown, and then started campaign 3, and then I kind of lost track. So do tell me.
Spoilers, and spoilers for anybody else. There's a bit in the final story arc where they descend through a dungeon, and there are horrific abominations, and one of them is this like 4-legged elephant-style creature with a baby's face and like a mandible with like a anglerfish light on it, and then around its face has all of these like 6 arms. That like just, and that's what this reminds me of, and that with a dinosaur head is just
you can
bonkers.
See I took up with me a lot of my hand-built terrain, so you can see my portable tavern that it's now positioned in here, and also my tooth tower, which is in the background there.
Tooth tower.
Yeah. So when I found a bag in a charity shop of about 100 pairs of Halloween vampire teeth. What do you do with rotten vampire teeth? Well, obviously take them home and then wait for the chance to build a tower made of teeth. So that is my lich layer. That is my Lich's
Nice.
Lair. So it's basically a big gummy, toothy nightmare castle for people to adventure through, and it's playable on each level.
Wow.
It all comes apart. The tavern is built into an old paint shop. You know those paint kits you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
at Christmas? So it folds flat. That's why all the stalls are not 3D, because it completely closes in on itself, and it's a portable dungeon. You can just go, right, you meet in a tavern.
That's
And
amazing.
you just whack it down on the table for someone's first adventure.
Very, very cool. And I think like with an event like this, being able to put something down that and then put a monster in it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's very, very cool. But yeah, I love this. And I think that those massive arms, that's just like powerful. And then just like, that thing's like strength that is going to be insane.
I think it can also gallop, which is
it's gonna be
terrifying.
quick.
Because it's, you know, the four legs there are ready for charging. The little hands are just scooping up any gubbins it can. And then, the big ones are for smashing and crushing.
Yeah. So that's Monster 1. And
Monster
what I might do is I might try and put these really small down here so that I can see them.
All next to each other.
And we'll bring them up one by one as we
yeah.
get to the next. So, Monster 2.
Monster 2, I think, has a couple of pictures of it. I think we've got
so,
two images.
yeah, 2 pictures for Monster 2. So let's start with the first one, which is this one. Which we are looking at a dinosaur front again.
No, it's a rhino.
It's a rhino front. They're dinosaurs, aren't they?
Yeah, closely related.
As closely related as we are. Look
yeah.
at that. So I like that they've got obviously like the tail there as well.
Yeah. So this is a pretty straightforward head swap, but the idea of like an ankylosaurus and then like a rhino. So you've got like reptilian middle.
Yeah.
You've got mammal front end, and what the back end is from. I think it probably was the tail from the other raptor that we saw in the previous monster. It looks the same toning and stuff. And again, it's causing chaos in the tavern here, like just jumping up on stage, maybe about to sing a ballad. We don't know. It could.
It could be a sentient creature. We don't know. I'm going to put that one
Be.
down. I'll grab picture number 2 at the same time
So
because
this
that's
one
it
is
from the side.
This is it. Actually, trying to order a drink at the bar. You see.
Because I mean that. For me, that is a really cool bestial monster. So like if you were to play like a game like Final Fantasy, or if you were to play, sort of areas of D&D where it's open wilderness, and actually you could have like some kind of monster that you don't see before, and then it charges out in, because that looks like a charging monster. It's heavily armoured with that like is it Ankylodon? Is that the kind of Ankylosaurus, that kind of spiked torso.
I've got a 7-year-old that tells me off for getting my dinosaur names wrong. So.
I am awful at dinosaurs. One of my players is phenomenal at them. But like that, like horned head, spiked body, and that long tail. This is dangerous at 3 points. It's going to have heavy armor class. It's going to be a charging creature with massive strength, especially with that huge horn, and then that tail can sweep.
A knockback feature, 10 foot on a failed strength save, something like that.
Yeah, but even in terms of like kit bashing and building, sometimes simplicity really does work. And I think that like instead of going, I loved the big arms on number 1, and I really liked the idea that like there was all these different aberrational parts, but this is creating a beast. This is something that you could happen across in the wild, that's not necessarily been created by a bad mage or by an alchemist. This is like
a more organically evolved creature.
Yeah, and I really like that. I like it a lot. I think that if you can reskin a real animal, like something like a rhino or like a dinosaur, and then change a stat block and stuff like that, that's kind of one of the D&D things.
That's it. Sometimes you could just say, right, it's this stat block, but I'm actually going to give the players a description of X.
Yeah.
And it has all the same mechanics as this from the monster manual, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to call it a hideous blob or something, or some winged beast, but just give it the stats of a harpy, for example.
Yeah.
And it, you can skin that and describe the creature however you wish and make it truly terrifying if you want to, and or make it angelic. You could just play with the imagery, but keep the viciousness of the stat. How that power manifests, sort of thing, within the creature.
And I think the simplicity for that one, Amiibo, is really actually the thing that I like a lot there. So let's look at monster number 3, which is
So this is in my graveyard. This one is positioned. That is mostly constructed from the insides of Christmas sweet boxes.
Really?
So all the tombstones are like the little shapes where you get a chocolate out of.
Huh.
basically.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Then the tops were done with a little bit of balsa wood and scrap card.
I like that a lot. But this mini, this is a demon to me. This is something that's been summoned and is like, or a guardian or a construct or something that is like, I mean, those horns for a start, because that's, I'm imagining that was mainly a Ben 10 mini in the middle and then just clay for the rest of it.
Exactly, but I mean, that's the joy of being able to just add horns to something that didn't have horns.
Yeah.
It's now got these kind of demonic things on its head, and it's a demon now. Like, what did I find? I found a centurion, like, from a museum, like a clay thing that you'd have as an ornament. But I took that and then added a pair of dragon wings that I had from a broken dragon toy. Now, it's an infernal guardian, you know.
Nice.
It's like that kind of from the nine hells type creature that can now. It was a gladiator. That's what it was. It was a gladiator, like with a full gladiator shield and a sword. So added a Games Workshop skull to the front of the thing, and then stuck these wings on, bit of modelling clay, and it's now an infernal creature.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely that kind of approach, and like, so taking something like this, where it's like, it's already quite monstrous as it is with that singular eye. It's very Cyclops. And then you've got that big kind of like pectoral area at the top there. So like, again, it screams strength or guardian or humanoid and bipedal. And I like what they've done in terms of like going, okay, so it's like got this massive upper body, tiny legs. So it's probably not very quick. But
either that or it's terrifyingly quick because it just goes skitters across the floor.
But I very much like the addition. The horns alone, I think, like, it just gives it that demonic look. And I just think that simplicity again is something that's winning.
The other option for this in a stat block would be like it completely seems useless and paralysed, and it's got these tiny little legs, but those arms and legs are tentacles that can extend.
Oh, that would be like really cool. Like so it like reaches
you get
out
within a certain range of this poor mewling creature with one eye, and then all of a sudden,
like eldritch horror stuff.
Yeah.
And there it is in a.
Oh, that's in the chapel.
So let's have a quick. I'm going to bring this one down here.
And keep that one for Jujin.
Down here, and then let's grab this particular thing and have a closer look. Because, again, if this is a summoned beast...
That's a place to do it.
Yeah, but also... Seeing a creature inside terrain really kind of like... just adds that element of immersion to it. So, like, seeing this particular mini, and then... how it's been put together, but then it also being like... Aah!
Also, the scale here is better. You can see the size of the door behind.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is massive. That is like huge. That is like a little outline of a door just between those two pillars.
Yeah.
And so that is going to be, what?
Well, it's a giant,
15?
essentially. Yeah,
it's like going to be large to giant creature, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that like what they've done there is they've gone simplistic with like not having too many parts and just going, I'm going to stick some arms and legs on this thing and some horns, and I'm going to make this a horrible humanoid-looking thing, and I think that works really well.
Yeah, like that. It doesn't have to be a massive scratch-built thing.
No,
it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be again the best sculptor. I mean, that person has put horns and tentacles on a creature, and it's just made that thing a completely different from what it was originally.
Yeah, exactly that. So that was 3. Let's have a look at number 4, which is boom.
So the big arms are back.
The big arms are back.
The big arms are back in this one.
So this is like the opposite side of this. So whereas before there was like one part and a load of clay, this is a lot of parts.
Yes.
And I think for me...
I remember the creation of this one.
I've just turned it off. I'm turning it off.
The creation of this one was a complex issue to get everything to bond without collapsing off, because we're only relying on plasticine, Play-Doh, whatever, to kind of hold them together. But it took some time. I like the hunchedness of this one. Yeah.
So this is something I was going to point out. Is like I like that this bit looks robotic.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that like this could be some kind of like sci-fi or artificial creature that's like been Frankenstein together by some like horrible doctor or physicist who's scientist who's just gone like, so I need strength with the body and with these arms, but then you know what, let's give it a robotic bit here, and then this rat's ahead. It is again another abomination that is just perfect, and like the club tail. The
also nice thing with this one is because the face is not so vicious. One, I can also imagine it as a friendly NPC that's just like a load lifter kind of type creature. Like like,
Yeah.
oh, gotta go lift the things again, and just be like even though it is monstrous, it could be a completely like, you know, indentured servant, like, you know, I just
agree.
lift boxes. And
Yeah, so you could be looking at like a servitor almost from 40k, where it's like, you know, certain parts have been like machined in and it's been lobotomized and it's just got one job and that's its job for the rest of its life. I mean, it looks like it's going to be suffering.
Oh, you wreck with it stacking and you're for it. But,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't wreck with it stacking.
But I really do like that hunched robotness. I think that is that, and then like the spine there as well. I really like that.
They were very much repeated parts on various monsters, so they became like mohawks. They became all kinds of stuff. Not all the creatures are here, as I said before, but some people didn't want to, you know, didn't send the pictures or whatever. But they were fantastic. Some of these creatures, so just the imagination of the kids, and it got us chatting because obviously we've got kids at the table, we've got parents around, and I met so many cool D&D people on through the Geekfest that, like, you know, hidden community members that you never knew were there, and they were just like, oh, we 3D print, oh, we've got a massive gaming table, and I've followed a couple of them, and like some of their setups are like, I mean, your setup is incredible here.
Thank you very much.
And they've got this one chap. He's showing me off his he's got like an inlaid screen table,
nice,
like a VTT kind of
lovely
tabletop thing, and it's just ace looking. And like, you only live in Hale, like.
Yeah, and it's like, what's amazing is like, I love that in recent years, obviously there's been a huge boon in D&D, let alone the rest of the tabletop community, and lockdown helped with miniature painting and kit bashing, like here, where people are like, well, we need to find something to do with the kids, and actually something like this, where you meet people in the community and you can be like, hey, you can do those bits without using glue with your kids, and you can do this. Yeah. And I think
we actually did this, and we had some friends of my daughter's round, and I just got the box out again and just went, look, this is what you're doing with us today, and then we'll go over to the park. So they sat and built hideous things, and it was wonderful, and they were laughing their heads off.
And I think that's perfect. I mean, I'm sure my two boys would come up with something horrendously rude, but that's my kids.
Well, do you know what? I've bought the box of bits for you to borrow.
Okay, so we'll make something in a minute. Yeah. Let's do that. So that's number 4, and I really like. I like how much of it there is. I like that servitor kind of to it. Like
it was a complex build, this one.
Yeah.
So the skill in this one is quite incredible.
So
that's the boy.
Number 5. I'm going to try and get closer in on this one because this one is. First of all, let's not miss googly eyes.
Googly eyes. Now, not painted googly eyes look hilarious on this, but I think give it some sort of weird googly eyedness. But in terms of kit bashing, googly eyes are incredible elements. They act like very cheap cabochons. So if you can't afford to buy, you know, the proper shiny things, or you want to create boils, you want to create eyeballs, you want to create gemstones, they're so cheap and available. They work brilliantly as a kit bash tool.
I love this. Look at that face.
The straight on look.
And that's the one that I really wanted to show off right there, because like and I agree. Like, googly eyes are a fantastic shape because they are they're really hilarious, and I think that like that's so damn cute. And like the different size, see, even plus like that's so cute, and the different size eyes, that kind of like.
It's the different sizes. It's very. Do you ever read any Jonan Vasquez, Invader Zim stuff?
Oh yes, yeah.
So Invader Zim was always, and Roman Dirge, the other guy that was kind of used to work with him quite a lot. Always one little eye and then a giant eye. It's got that kind of. That one's just beautiful.
It's the fact that it looks like it's smiling as well, and I know that's like the Ankylosaurus.
I think that is the Ankylosaurus's head. Yeah.
And it's just like, hello. It's very.
It's the cock of the head as well. Yeah. It's like that kind of, you know, curious dog look.
Yeah.
About it, like, what?
This is.
You offering me a snack?
This is a party who have found an owl bear and have adopted it as the mascot. Yeah. This is completely one of those, and again, I'm going to come into something like Starfinder with this, and like you go to an alien world and you happen across this like slightly sentient creature that has maybe like a really low int stat, but it's just enough that it can talk and be like, okay, and it's just going to follow you along, and players are going to love a character like this because it's derpy.
Yeah, it's got it needs a saddle.
Yeah.
Like a saddle on this would be great. Charging into combat with some sort of lance.
Yeah.
On the back of the most derpy creature in the world. But I love it. I think it's.
The eyes. I just think it's amazing, and I very much like. Yeah, those two different size ones. The rest of the body, however, is also really, really cool. And the main theme I'm seeing here is that we're going with a lot of the quadruped.
Yes, yeah. There were very little bipeds being made. I think mainly because the Ben 10 figures were the bipeds that we had, and they were very obvious. You also get a lot more stability with these.
I think that is probably the other thing there, is like we've got a good base to work from. Try and put it in a position where we can show it off. Is that got two tails?
I'm not sure if that's another creation that was laying around in the background. They were some of the oddest ones, where it was just like a tail and then a hand, or something like that would come out of the end of this creature.
But that's like some kind of like horrible primordial worm that's going to jump down your throat. I like that. And have they used clay there to patch up colours and stuff to give it?
I think they were just busy with it. So some of them you had to kind of almost fill with a lot of the Play-Doh to be able to make the bonds, because obviously the head here, the circumference, if you want to call it that, is a lot smaller than the central body of this Diplodocus, and it kind of it adds fleshy tones, like fleshy bits, and if you're doing a patchwork creature, that's what you're going to end up with. You're going to end up with overlaps and all kinds of weird stuff going on.
So that is that one just there.
I think that was it.
So these are the people who entered. So I'm going to bring these up to be a bit bigger, and we will.
This is your very difficult decision, Tony.
So is it just me that has to decide here?
Yeah, because I have to be impartial, I'm afraid.
Oh God.
Because I ran the competition, and because I know some of the people, I don't want to give anything away. Watch out, you got a friend.
Hey buddy, why don't we get out of here, you? Why don't we... So here we got a wasp in the studio, off you go. The pressure is on, Fluff, you're right. I'd start a poll, but I don't think it's down to you guys. I think I have to make this decision.
Well, that was your foolish decision when you agreed.
Yeah.
So I'll be the judge, but I mean, it's a tough one. It's really tough.
So I'm just going to make them a wee bit bigger, because I want to...
If we go in the middle...
Yeah, let's put them around the outside. That's a very smart idea. So let's put 5, 4.
Get off, wasp.
Please. Everybody hates us. Love me. So
That's so weird.
I only recently learned in the past few years that they are as good at pollinating as bees are and stuff like that. And I didn't know. I thought they were just hellspawn that shouldn't exist. But I was wrong.
No, that's chinchillas, as we decided earlier. Or I decided earlier.
So, we've got bottom left number 1, top left number 2, number 3 in the middle, and then number 4 top right, and number 5.
Chat, which one's your favourite?
Yeah, so actually, let's have a word with chat and just see which one you guys like. I'm not going to let that influence me, because I think I know what I'm going for here, and I'll let you know my criteria and stuff, and I'm going to go based on, obviously, people had to be as creative as possible, and they had to do something that was putting together different bits to create something new from something that
and these are
wasn't
people
there
that
before.
never done this before as well.
Exactly.
I mean, they had no experience of probably modding or sculpting, and we've got a massive range of ages
here. Yeah, and also they probably didn't have an idea of things like D&D and stuff like that. So to go sometimes simplistic, going, I'm going to create a different kind of beast that's going to be out in the wild, or I'm going to create something horrendous and out there. This shows levels of creativity and on different points. And I think what we're seeing is definitely with number 1 an aberration of how can we create something extra? How can we go that extra mile to really create something new from everything we've got here. Number 2 I really like because it's got that bestial form to it that looks like... Actually, you know what this is like? If you were to take Harry Potter and Newt Scamander and Fantastic Beasts, and we see creatures that we recognise, but...
There's something extra.
There's something magical or something different. And that's that feel for me. It's we've got this kind of rhino dinosaur that could be... something that we just haven't seen.
Yeah, mid-tier adventure, sort of in the wild encounter on the route somewhere. This is ideal kind of creature for that. But
Yeah.
number one's a dungeon lurker. So,
Oh, for sure. Number one has been created to kill things.
Mm-hmm.
Fluffy says, I think the docile heavy lifter with the underlying crazy strength and order is my favourite. I think that it's a fantastic put together.
It's a good build.
Number 3, I think, speaks to the person who created it. They are somebody who thinks, I think, on a storyline basis and has gone, I want a boss. I want I want something to stop somebody, or to be summoned, or to be just hard as nails. And I'm going to try and curb my swearing because I know a lot of these people might watch this. They're under the thing. But like, this thing looks like a monster that you would expect to find at the end of a dungeon, or something that you would have to face in order to complete your quest.
I see it as that kind of the one before BB.
Yes. And it's like, you know, the big show before, like,
It's the body,
wizard.
It's the bodyguard. It's the It's the creation of the mad artificer. It's the thing summoned from the depths of hell by the evil wizard.
I like that this with the simplicity, but this for me is so story based that they were thinking, right, I want to create a monster that speaks for itself. Like we've put so much story onto this one monster by going, you know, where the other ones we've gone, this looks like this and this looks like that. This one we've gone, in a church it could be this, it could be summoned, it could be this, and yeah, it speaks to those stories. Number 4 is pain. It is a servitor. It is. I think you're right with that heavy load lifter and that like partial android, partial cyborg kind of like.
I don't know, something about the stoop lends to its character for me.
Yeah.
That kind of it looks like it's knackered, but you know
it doesn't have a choice.
It looks powerful. I mean, it looks so strong.
Yeah.
And it has that kind of I don't know, indentured servant kind of element to me. That's as soon as I saw it, I was just like, well, that's it. Like it's a servitor. It's a load lifter type thing. But again, easily like another cool monster to have in a dungeon or as an NPC. I mean, imagine if that was piloting a ship as well. Like you walk onto the bridge of the ship to meet the captain, and
it's that. So I see that in an engine room. I see that to be like
very good,
not necessarily as a loader, but I see that as like, you know. Maybe I see it as like a medium-sized creature, and it's like an amalgamation of somebody who's like been in an explosion or has had to be like repaired, and they're like part like jacked in, and they're like help. But I do see a lot of like Warhammer style pain there as well at the same time. So again, a lot of story that can be done off this one alone. And number 5, I mean, it's the cutest monster there. Yes. By far. It is a mascot for sure. And Dragon Skull says that it's number 1 for them. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that they're going with that kind of like aberration feel. But number 5, I love that derpiness to the googly eyes. I love the fact that when we were looking at the whole body, again, it could be bestial, it could be a monstrosity, it could be a sentient NPC.
Oh, Fluff's agreeing with us, I think, on number 4 there. Is that right, Fluff? You like number 4, the fuller character?
Yeah, and I think Fluffy said that it was her favourite. Yeah, docile heavy lifter, so number 4. Yeah. And I think that with number 5 vote, I like how they've filled that neckline with a lot of that Play-Doh. In terms of putting a monster together, I like how neat it is in terms of like everything fits together. When we were looking at the side view, like all of that Play-Doh kind of like fits in. And it takes it back to like an almost original dinosaur-like look or bestial look. But again, back to games for me like Starfinder and for D&D, when you happen across something that's obviously designed to look like a dinosaur, but it's not, and you know that it's not, it's definitely got that creative spark to it.
You can say that kind of, it's got the proportions of, but
it's themed in such a way.
It's got this oddness to it.
Because that could be this big, and it could be like living on your shoulder. It could be like, I don't think we should go down there today. I'm really not a fan of fire. Or it could be like this monster thing that you ride into battle, but it looks hilarious, and
it's brilliant.
Yeah, I that was my cat.
No, I think it's my chair.
Oh, okay. I thought it was my cat over there telling me that it's hungry. So which one do I think?
I'm sorry to put this on you. I really am.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the criteria. The criteria is build a monster. Was it just build a monster, or was it like
monster building workshop? It didn't have to be a vicious monster. It just had to be a monster. Which one is most monstrous? I think.
it's number one?
Yeah.
For me, number one in terms of monstrous. The others are I don't know because number 3 is quite monstrous. It's number one. I'm going with number one because I like how dangerous it is. If that were to be put down on a table, I would cack my pants because I'd be like, oh god, it's got 2 sets of arms, and those 2 sets of arms, one of them looks like a feeder, the other one looks strong, and
it's hungry and strong, like probably the dangerousest combination of all creatures.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to get hangry, and I think, Matt, number 3, it was close. Number 3, it was real close there, because in terms of like the monstrousness, again, it looks, number 3, you look like it is specifically designed to hurt players. And when I think about a monster, that's what I think of. But this is horrific.
Hurting your players. Hurting their characters, you mean?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Freudian slip.
No, guys. No. But I mean, the idea that this thing could grab you and then just like aliens, like that smaller mouth that's inside a mouth, this thing's just going to grab you with its big arms, and its small one's going to pick you apart.
It pulls you apart this way, and then just kind of uses
Gets
little
the bits
hands
it
to
wants.
kind of like pick out the intestine.
I think that for me that's the winner, because
number one. Well, congratulations, number one.
Yeah.
I will get in contact with you via the old Instagram. Thank you for sending in your monsters, everybody, and thank you for everybody who actually took part in the monster building competition. It was so much fun meeting all of you, chatting, hanging out, and learning that there is such a big community out there of gamers and role players and creative types out there, and just bringing us together at Geekfest was fantastic. And just meeting some of you and finding new ones that I didn't know about, fantastic. And you'll get a number 1 picture, you will monster, you will get your voucher at Game On in Penzance. I shall give them the picture of your monster so you can go and pick it up, and you're free to go down and spend it whenever.
To which end as well, not that you knew about this, because you didn't at all,
Well,
I will also throw in a couple of goodies. Because
extra gubbins.
It has been an absolute pleasure to do this with you, and creativity should be celebrated, and it's something that I think that you have earned, because number 1, I adore that. It's horrific, and I like horrific.
Now the thing is, do we actually now find those bits, make it, realise it as a monster, and then give it to you as a creature for your tabletop?
I mean, we absolutely can do if you so want to.
I can do that.
You go grab some bits and let's put some things together.
Well, I'll take what I'll do is I'll take it home, I'll re-sculpt it so it's solid,
nice,
clayed, glued, painted, and you can have it.
Number 1, I'm going to throw this at some players during a Starfinder campaign that's coming up on this channel soon, and when it kills them, they can blame you. Because I'm going to make it a horrific stat block for that thing. It is going to be awful, because I can see so many things, so that's awesome, and I am going to have a lot of fun with it. Yeah. Number 1, we'll throw some goodies in for you as well, and I assume that you will be able to take this down to...
I'll take them down. We'll make up a little presentation box for you down at Game On, and you can go and see those wonderful guys, grab some refreshment, grab some cool gubbins. You know, they've got Pokemon, TCG stuff. They've got a lovely little cafe. Grab some snacks. And
they do.
Yeah, it's a good place.
I hope that your monster building beginnings continue and they blossom. To everybody who entered this and everybody who took part with you at Geekfest that didn't put an entry in, and I hope that everyone had a great time. I mean, this looks like it was so fun, and it was just fun to see them, let alone take part in doing anything like that. And well done to you all, and welcome.
Band of Brothers are so grateful for your contributions as well. It will help them on their journey and help those gents that are struggling on their journey too, going forwards. And you've helped people just by making a monster.
And again, if you want to know anything more about a Band of Brothers, if you want to get in touch with them, I'll put links in the description below on YouTube.
Sounds good.
Same with Game on Cornwall. I will put links in the description below for where you can find them, and for their, I'm assuming they have a website. I'm pretty sure they do.
And Insta,
we will put all that down there. Most importantly, though, since you are here right now, once more tell us who you are, where people can find you, and a bit about yourself.
So, My name's Pete. It's life_inc_Pete on Instagram, and I basically make weird stuff all the time, and big fan of role-playing games. We have Critically Average Adventures, which is our weekly to bi-weekly upload on YouTube, so you can find us there. We've got campaigns that have been running roughly about 3 years now on there, so and individual like little pop-up games when we can't get a group together, so we're playing D&D 5e mainly on there, but we are running Call of Cthulhu, we have run Troika, we have run Vassen, we have run Deep Forest, we have run so many different games on there, and you can go and join us over there and get a flavour for what we do, and just joy of gaming and having fun basically around a table and imaginary worlds. Create collaborative storytelling, that's the joy.
And that's what it's all about, really, is having fun and growing the community. And yeah, again, do check out all of Pete's channels and all of Pete's stuff. We'll put all of that in the descriptions below, and I will get him to send me all the links and we'll put it in there. Pete, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks for offering your space, and thank you for being.
Well, I don't know if I should say thank you. That was hard.
Yeah, I know. I put you through a lot today, and I didn't really. Well, I knew it would be tough. But
no, Dragon Skull I Green #1 is absolutely the winner there. Guys, thank you so much. #1, well done. I can't wait to get a load of stuff to you, and for Pete to get all the stuff down at Game on Cornwall for you. Everybody who's tuned into Dragon Ball Industries, thank you so much. Do check out Band of Brothers. Check out all of the things that we'll stick in the descriptions below. Those of you watching on YouTube, go follow Pete. Go follow Game on Cornwall. We'll obviously always happily take a follow here. But yeah, today is all about kind of the charity and about a Band of Brothers and the event that you did there.
Community, innit? That's what it's about.
Yeah,
always about.
Exactly that. So yeah, thank you so much, and may the dice gods be ever in your favour. Thanks for watching.
Bye.